On the military action in Afghanistan, I'm joined by Lieutenant Colonel Michael Waltz, a former Green Beret commander and Fox News contributor. Michael, one of the things you were telling me earlier today is that the flow of fighters back between the Middle East and then this region that we bombed today has actually been growing. Is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. As we're starting to see the Iraqi army, mentored by Green Berets and other Americans, achieve success in Mosul, and then as we're starting to really surround Raqqa in Syria, you're starting to see ISIS flow its fighters, particularly those of Afghan and Pakistani origin, back into the Afghan-Pakistani border region to grow their caliphate there. So I think what we're seeing here, is just a further recognition that this is a global effort against ISIS. And what I'm really thrilled to see is General Nicholson, the commander in Afghanistan, having the authority to use this type of force. As you mentioned, we just lost a Green Beret trying to go in on the ground against this tunnel and cave complex last weekend. And I've been in that region. It is easily defended and god-awful terrain, and if faced with the choice of sending in hundreds of Afghans and Americans to clear it out on the ground and taking casualties, or dropping the largest non-nuclear bomb, I'm glad to see General Nicholson, the commander, able to do that. And I think this is an extension of President Trump delegating authority down to his combatant commanders and his commanders on the ground. I don't think you would have ever seen this approved under the Obama administration.
Can you tell us, we haven't had a chance really to talk about what the Green Berets are doing there. You said yourself that you had been there, and we know that we just lost one of the Green Berets over the weekend, Sergeant Dialsanar. What is the range of responsibilities that the Green Berets has in that area?
Well, Dana, Green Berets are unique in special operations forces in that they specialize in embedding with and training and then combat advising local national either guerrillas or, in this case, the Afghan National Army. So, of course, you have your counterterrorism forces that are unilaterally going after bad guys in the night. But the real mission there and the real focus is the advisory effort, and our Green Berets are embedded with Afghan Army commandos, small units with large groups of Afghan Army commandos, helping them actually in the fight, call in medevac, call in air support, help them with intelligence and command and control. And that, I think, is going to be the long-term presence you're going to see out on the ground. What's amazing is that with just a few hundred Green Berets, you can advise thousands of Afghan Army Special Forces and commandos and have a real impact. The problem the last few years is the Obama administration have been really tying their hands over, look, we're all concerned about civilian casualties, but you can't micromanage that concern from Washington. And what we're seeing now is letting the commanders out on the ground do their jobs like they're supposed to do.
One last question for you, because you actually wrote the book about the importance of hard power and soft power at the same time.
Right.
Does this hard power action today help with diplomacy going forward?
Well, it complements. It absolutely complements each other. As I was saying after the strikes in Syria and now with this strike, our diplomats are now emboldened. When they come to the table, they can speak with the authority of the United States military behind them, and our opponents and our allies know that we have the political will to use it. And that translates whether you're having a cup of tea with a tribal elder you're trying to win over, or whether you're sitting in Moscow with the Russian foreign minister.
All right. Michael Waltz, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks, Dana.